Hi everyone, and welcome to my how-to guide on playing Lucio. So there's a couple of neat things about Lucio. One of the big deals with him is he has two different abilities that are AoE. He has an AoE heal and then he has an AoE speed boost. And his AoE speed boost is arguably one of the most useful utility abilities in the game. You can switch back and forth of those. Between pushing that button, whatever you assign to it. For me, it's Q. And then, of course, he has his knockback. So he can knock back people in a small radius by pushing right click. Left click is going to add a 3-round burst shot. So he'll shoot 3 little balls out. And those are his two big damage dealers. Now, Lucio can also wall ride. It's one of his utilities, so if you run up to a wall and hold jump, you can skate across it. So the trick with Lucio, the big thing to remember with Lucio is you are an enabler. That is your primary role in the group. You enable your team to hold points. You enable them to get to objectives quicker, to recover from situations. You can hold points tremendously well with your speed boost. The highest time I've ever seen was something like 9 minutes done by my wife on a Lucio. A single objective held for 9 minutes solid by herself. So I mean, it is tremendously impressive how well he can perform. The one thing to remember with him though is his heal is AOE, just like his speed boost. So you gotta stay in the mix when playing Lucio. You can't just sit back and passively heal like a Zenyatta or a Mercy. It's a very active character, and you've got to actively be focusing on your points. This last thing I'll speak with, of course, is his ultimate ability. He will put a barrier, a sound barrier specifically, on your allies, and for a short duration, they'll be able to take an incredible amount of damage, and it does fall off passively, regardless if they take damage or not, within about 4 or 5 seconds. So with Lucio, the key to playing him is mainly just your timing. Your abilities do stay on cooldown, so one of your abilities is going to boost up your speed boost or your healing. So you're going to heal a lot more for a short duration, or they're going to move a lot faster for a short duration. But it does have a relatively lengthy cooldown. So if you're just using that ability willy-nilly and boosting your healing or boosting your speed boost, you are going to miss a clutch opportunity to use that. That's going to be the difference. So the same thing is true for your sound barrier as well. You don't want to use your sound barrier every time it comes off cooldown. You want to wait until you're making a big push, and then use your sound barrier, follow that up with your healing boost, and call it a day. One of the tricks with Lucio, of course, is that I see a lot of newer players forget is that speed boost. This speed boost is almost more valuable than Lucio's passive healing. I say that through experience, especially when you have a more experienced team that you're playing with. They're going to take less damage overall if you keep that speed buff up than if you just constantly or passively healing them, because they're going to be able to avoid more damage. As also running away from ults or getting in and out of situations, right here there's a Junkrat tire coming, so I'm going to pop my healing boost for my team. After popping my healing boost for my team, I'm going to circle around behind them, and then I'm going to follow that up with a sound barrier to push that point, and that payload never stops moving. So my goal is, again, to enable my team to make those plays. I am the best enabling character in the game. So as a support, you're, again, not a flanker, you're not a tank. You can hold objectives extremely well, but your primary function is to stay right with your team. More so than arguably any other character in the game, Lucio needs to remain in the action. So if there's anything you're going to practice, it's practice staying alive mid-combat. You're going to die with Lucio. It's going to happen. Luckily, your speed boost will get you back to the action quickly, but you need to stay with your DPS, with your tanks, to allow that passive healing or speed boost to be effective. So running back from the spawn, I'm popping my speed boost, I'm boosting it up to make it even quicker. I'm getting my Reinhardt back in the fight in 4 or 5 seconds instead of 10 or 12 seconds. I mean, that is enabling him now to perform his function. So the key takeaway when playing Lucio, again, is you are an enabler. you're enabling your team to hold points, you're enabling them to make plays, and you just happen to be able to heal on the side. But your biggest function is constantly adding that enabling pressure with a group of allies. So if your allies completely get wiped out, Lucio more or less becomes ineffective at that point unless you're trying to solo hold an objective. So right here, I'm going to run back to my team and I'm going to speed boost to get them back to their job quicker. Unfortunately, Junkrat turns this corner and starts spamming us with bombs, at which point I die. But guess what? My team is now in that action in 4 seconds instead of 10 seconds. I didn't just die willy-nilly. I ran back. I'm enabling them to get back to the fight so they can continue to push. With a good Lucio on your team, you're going to get 3 or 4 extra opportunities on an objective that you wouldn't beforehand just because of that speed boost. And that AoE healing is tremendous. It is not as powerful as Mercy's direct healing, but when coupled with Mercy, it can make people almost unkillable. So right here, I see the opportunity to use we're pushing the point, I use my ultimate, I use my boosted heal, I'm keeping everybody on that objective, on that payload, and we are going to quickly push this through. So that goes right back to the beginning when I said don't use your abilities willy-nilly, wait for that opportunity, a lot like playing Genji. As always, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. I will follow up with you, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe this video.